We lived in the trees. Why it looks melted, part 10. So again, we've got all these, I mean, we've seen them in other videos, haven't we? We've seen all the pattern, how it looks like it's burnt in that kind of way and stuff like. It's almost like it's, when it's all like black and you've got like a few flames that are kind of like almost hovering upon it, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's all going at a certain temperature. It's almost like you turn the stove down, so it's not like a blazing fire as such and stuff like. Maybe the rain has like slowed it down and all that kind of stuff. It's recaught fire and all these kind of things and stuff. There's different ways. You like look at this here, and it's a completely different kind of pattern and stuff like. I kind of feel like that looks like it maybe that's when it were at the high intensity, and then when the rain came, it's made it more like this. And a bit of it looks like it there as well, kind of thing. It's got like more of a fractured pattern rather than the smooth stuff. Like you see there, it's got more of a fractured pattern here and here. That little bit there, it's got little bits of it and stuff. Like reminiscent of this area and all that. This is like all cut out in it, because of how it's burnt out in that kind of way. And again, giving like that melted pattern. These again, all black. Are these kind of patterns, rather than flowers and stuff like the wood colour, the soot colour, all that kind of stuff. It's got all your patterns and stuff, obviously people are built into there and stuff like. I suppose there's another thing to mention is like the aspect of people being able to actually dig into rock and all that kind of stuff like. So we can't just completely exclude that, you know what I mean? I kind of think a lot of buildings, a lot of them would be carved out of wood, you know what I mean? Back in the time when it was a utopia. I mean, it's like there must have been such an abundance of people, you know what I mean? And I mean, I say utopia, it's gonna like there's a certain level of development. It's gonna like once people were. This could be a different topic. Obviously, as soon as like we've kind of developed some sort of order or structure, you know what I mean, to like how we be civilized and stuff like. I mean, there'd be such an abundance of stuff, an abundance of food that there's no need for theft because everything's there. You know what I mean? As long as like everybody kind of make sure everything functions right. You know what I mean, and stuff like. Like understanding how to work with the realm. You know what I mean? Like, it depends. There's so many things to say at this point. You know what I mean? Like what size of a fruit is and all these kind of things. How to maintain that in a cleanliness side of things. It's gonna like because there's like the abundance of it. If it's gonna rot, is that gonna be good for you? You know what I mean? So there's kind of getting everything. I don't know. I was going on a tangent. There's so many things to cover in it. You see what I mean? But I believe there will have been quite a lot of people, I imagine. You know what I mean? If, like, there must be less people now. You know what I mean? I know that people multiply and all that kind of stuff, like, but we've been through so much. If we're a massive flood, then we're still here. We're still survived, don't we? There's been so much that's happened since. There's been world wars and whatever else and stuff like plagues, etc. But um, but either, I'm sure there will have been quite an abundance, I imagine. There wouldn't have been need for like raiding. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, maybe. I think afterwards, I kind of think like beforehand, it's like the trees with the psychic ability, the Taurus field, and all that kind of thing. We would have been so connected with the realm. It would have been much better than like internet in that kind of sense. Um, it's almost like, like direct communication with God in a sense and stuff. It's like, what do we want to be inspired for? You know what I mean? Maybe create some sort of order to the civilization, like, like golden rules for people to follow and all these kind of things. There's a certain method of how things work and how to do things, and you know what I mean? So, teaching people the proper ways and all that kind of stuff. So, you know what I mean? It's gonna like the ease of functionality, you know what I mean? Especially in terms of inspiration, like connected to source in that kind of sense. Um, we potentially live for 1,000 years or so, or whatever and stuff like. Um, Pineal glands the size of a walnut, all that kind of talk. You know what I mean? It's gonna like, if that's the case, I kind of think we would have been, like in Kung Fu, we would get a fuse between heaven and earth. That's how it's described, you know what I mean? So, back in them days, it's kind of like, not for Kung Fu days, but like back into the ancient, the first people and stuff like that when the giant trees were there. Um, and you've got your pineal gland the size of a walnut, and then your intuition, your psychic ability, your position of being a fuse between heaven and earth, it's kind of like untampered. It's perfect in its own right, you know what I mean? In how it'd function and all that kind of stuff. How we are now, fluoridated and programmed TV and 5G and whatever else and stuff like that kind of thing. Everything influencing how we think and, all that kind of stuff. All affects it, you know what I mean? The fact that we haven't got the giant trees and the potential fruit that were produced and all these kind of things. Um, that fruit might have given enough nutrients for you not to need it to eat meat and stuff like. And maybe you don't need to, you know what I mean? Like, but either way, you know what I mean? It's gonna like, I kind of think since that catastrophe, we've had to like rebuild, you know what I mean? We've had to, hunting has become a necessity. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a lot of diets require food from long distances away, so it's like really difficult to get a perfectly round balanced diet and stuff like. If you didn't have like forms of travel or transport or delivery systems and stuff like. So what we rely on today and all them kind of things and stuff like. Um, but yeah, I mean it's a big topic. There's so much to discuss on it and stuff like. Um, but moving on to it, I don't believe it's melted. You know what I mean? I mean these cracks can form like hangman shows and stuff like that kind of thing. Even without the fire and all that kind of stuff. At the top, there's a bit of a darker area on some of them and stuff like. Um, I see it's like them other mountains where they're all black on top. you can see it staining on here as well. You know what I mean, and stuff like. But it's more prominent at the top. Oh yeah. So I was showing you that one again. See those patterns, those lines. Is that like those burn lines and stuff kind of thing? It's gonna burn in that way. This is potentially what it is. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, it could be weathering and stuff like that, but especially to be open-minded about, you know, all possibilities. You know what I mean? There's some of them but don't appear to have any burning evidence at all and stuff like. Sometimes it's all fallen away, so there's no, you can't find the evidence on there anymore. You'd have to dig down and find fallen blocks and stuff like. But then like more across here, this is reminiscent of all them burnt wood and stuff. You know what I mean? It's following that kind of pattern, and then you've got the stripy kind of burn. So this is a good one. Not so much a melted building thing as such as like the giant tree aspect of things. Your common rock face type of thing. And then you've got all this here, you know. You've got like, I mean, this looks like wood, doesn't it? You know, you can see the tree aspect of what we're trying to like say about it and stuff like. But then like, these parts look like your lava stuff. You know, all the things that they claim to be lava. Like when we're seeing these and stuff like that, all your basalt columns and stuff, or it's lava, you know what I mean, and stuff like. And you can see that all wood colour, you know what I mean, as it's like, you know, what's underneath and stuff. And when you look at it all together as well, I see all this here, you know, you see rivers, it looks like there's a knot there, you know what I mean, and stuff like. See, it's all that wood kind of look to it, and it all looks connected as well. So you've got all that. Obviously, these are broken away, so it would have come out further and stuff like. Potentially, you know, it might. I don't know. It will have done, but I don't know how much further far. So that looks like external, doesn't it? It could be just a missing layer and stuff, but yeah, I mean that, you know, it has got a bit of a river look to it as well, kind of thing. So, and you're comparing it to your melted aspect of stuff like, but but there's no evidence of buildings, and it looks more like a tree, you know. And also not lava. I said these are like your ones in Florida. I showed you on last video. I went looking for some pictures of them. I think I showed you one, but I found a couple and stuff. But it depends which ones. Not the mushroom ones. The ones that look different. I use the word different to describe it because it's got different shapes to it. You know what I mean? So that's like a block, and then it's got these two that are connected to it. It's like all one really, but it kind of like with different shapes to them and stuff. See, it looks like one, but it looks like that's connected. It's like it's all one plant, and it's like it's all shooting out and stuff like. Like I said, the bald cypress tree, wasn't it? So they might not have had leaves, but the tall trees, you know, the ones that we have today and stuff, they have leaves and all that kind of stuff. Like they had foliage. So so these could have had it as well, but again, how you got you out on their own, and then they're all clustered together. You know what I mean? They're like performing this mountain basically. Tower. But you've got it all in background. You've got like loads of them which are kind of connected to that cliffside, and then it's like a hill with them peaks. So I imagine it's stuff like this. It's just further up. It looks like it's sticking out there. Is that like a branch coming out? I know it's got like a circle there as well, but yeah, now we're farming to hill. I think background as well. You can see it quite well there, you know. Is that landmark? Is it China or it stretches across the east? Yeah, it's China. And again, your trees. For it to be burnt down, it's got this typical shape which is left over. You know, it's gonna it's weathered away in between and stuff like, and then obviously petrified and stuff. You like look at this stump here. It looks like a coal. You know what I mean? It's like all dark and it's got other stuff mixed in with it. So it's got like obviously sand by now and stuff like that kind of thing. Like, but I imagine back before it were ash. I mean, you look at it, it looks covered in it at the top, all through here and stuff. I zoom in, but it makes it go blurry. So that one up front's cool as well, isn't it? It's how burnt that looks. See, it's just for fried remains, and it's at water level. Obviously, water level used to be lower, with temples being underwater and all these kind of things. So, the height of it and all that kind of stuff, like. So this, you got your, what is it called, your fairy chimneys in Turkey. So you got the same thing going on here. It's like that plant in Florida, but it's a bit different to those which were described as different because they didn't have the same pattern like these do and stuff. Now the other ones did have like mushroom kind of heads to them and stuff like that kind of thing, like some of these do. But I'm talking about like the ash one and stuff. There's a water line. Is that where the ash is? You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's washed it off underneath. It's still quite thick and heavy with it and stuff like it. It's all. Look at this here. No, I still think it's what's it called? You're carved into trees with this one. And maybe it did grow a similar shape to the cypress tree. Um, but it looks like, like the ash has gone over it and stuff, like that kind of thing. Looks like there were another flood level, like that will be flood level to begin with, and then it's kind of come down, and then it's settled there. You see that layer? It's like got a layer coming over the top of it. It's like, is that the ash? You know what I mean? It will add the shape of a tree underneath them. You know what I mean? But obviously, whatever fire damage has occurred and stuff like, and is that what's happened? Is like, as it all of it kind of smouldered, this is the remains. It could be just weathering. But that previous one looked really burnt, you know what I mean? So, um, yeah, these look like the cypress trees. I can see a face there. It looks like graffiti, but not. Only through my phone it looks like graffiti. It just looks like an accident. Like, I don't know. It might be graffiti. It could be ancient, and then it wouldn't class as graffiti, but you got more of these. These look a little bit different to the cypress trees. These are the Lena pillars in Russia, and see how the pattern. It's just a bit different, and we were closer together, but they form these lines like that. And I didn't see that with cypress tree, and so there could have been a lot of variations of trees like this, like they're different to these. You know what I mean? These looks much more like the cypress tree. They might be the Lena pillars as well, actually. Um, this is Lena pillars. That's Lena pillars. Lena pillars again. You see them come out like that. It looks a bit different to those in China. You see them in the background again. It's like all the hills in the background is this. Like they could be it as well. You know what I mean? But lower the elevation where I have for these to grow or whatever. And it's like everything that's under the ocean. I mean, I showed you both what's it called? The seamounts. And some of them look like Thumbelina pillars, some of the seamount areas. But this, just for this tree element, like the arch at foot, you know what I mean? Between how it structures itself. And again, there, where it holds itself up and that. And then it's basically just one tree in it, but lots of trunks coming up. That one again. Potential mushrooms. Mainly because of like the smooth texture of it and stuff like and also like the little pockets that you get. So you got them in there. You got them in other ones as well. Almost like it was soft. But also, you got these cubic kind of hollow points, which may have filled that more, and then this being the stem might not have had those pockets. But also, cactus and coral, you know what I mean? There's all that to kind of consider and stuff like, but without having the soft pockets, you know what I mean? I'm definitely not ruling out mushrooms for it and stuff. And more of the burnt stumps kind of thing, amongst all this buried area. You can't see it because the grass has grown over it and stuff. So, that's how it follows that pattern. They look burnt, kind of thing. Some burnt remains. And we've got the Dome at Rock at Yosemite. So like we were talking about, like the layer of ash covering everything. That's potentially what that is. You see, like you've got like your rings here, so you get your structured tree and stuff like that kind of thing. Like, but you get all this, and then it's suddenly flat, and then you've got all this big dome kind of thing, and then you've got all these runnings where the water's like gone through the softer areas and stuff. There's so many of them, lines of it. So it's like that does imply that it used to be ash. There's a lot of potentiality for that, because it's not going in line with a tree. If a tree were going to form its line, and you see this here, it flaps over there, so you can see there that's like part of that tree ring. So is that, which that connects to that actually. So but that's also on that top surface. So when you're getting all these patterns and that, it's not marking up with tree. And if it were exposed wood at the top, then the water would go through the cracks. It'd split it open when it freezes and all these kind of things and make it erode quicker. And you'd see the broken up aspect of a tree more. It'd stand out more and stuff like, rather than having these patterns, because that implies that it was soft and it's hardened. I imagine it is like solid rock. It's not soft anymore. Is that a branch? Potentially. The woodness of it. So we've got these. Again, you're seeing this layer. There's like a slight crack. There's a layer missing. Again, almost like there's that layer of ash on it, so it makes it look like, in the terms of like how people describe mountains to be melted buildings. So when we're talking about like, if that's a melted building, it's all melted. So then that's why it looks about meltedness in that kind of sense. Obviously, if it's burnt and all that kind of stuff, and that's part of it as well. But most of them we're gonna have a strong base, and it's like the trunk might have only been there and then going up. Or maybe several trunks coming up from there, and that were like a burl point, so like loads of them could grow off it. And across here, off loads parts of it and stuff. Maybe, for other mountains as well. It's quite difficult to analyse otherwise. I keep seeing these layers. It could have grown. It could be like the skins of a tree, and stuff like. And that wouldn't have been that far off what it looked like when it had actually grown. Missing the what's it called with the branches and stuff, but that's just the other side of that place where there were doors and windows, all that kind of stuff other side. And this is the last of the pictures. So on the next ones I'll be doing the cross-referencing like other people's videos, and pointing stuff out. But as far as that is for now, I'll catch you in a bit. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.